A brief introduction to SkillsTX. What do we do and why is it important? Fundamentally, we start by answering these two vital questions. What skills do we have and what skills do we need? And we've built a talent experience platform to help do that, and then to use that data to make really good data-driven decisions moving forward, and always have a view of your current skills that you have and that you need. Why is it important? Well, no matter how clever we are with technology, we're still fundamentally a people business. We depend on people with the right skills and competencies to achieve everything we need to do. Often organizations find themselves held back by skill shortages, by not being able to attract, develop and retain people with the skills and competencies they need. And that creates a business risk through not having the right skills that are needed. So holding on to those, developing them, recruiting in the ones that you need are all critical activities for pretty much all organizations, because most organizations are dependent on technology and technology related skills and competencies. Whether you're looking at this from an individual perspective or on behalf of your organization, there are some key vital ingredients. The first is we need a common language for describing skills and competencies so that we can communicate and we each know what we're talking about. So that in our industry is done by using a framework called SOPHIA, the Skills Framework for the Information Age. And it's a standard set of descriptions for skills and competencies in the technology-related specialisms. Using that framework, we can start by answering the what skills do we have question, so that we know where we are right now. Where are we starting from? What skills and competencies do we have? Then again, using the same framework, we need to take a view on the skills that we need now and into the future. And with those two sets of data, the skills we have and the skills we need, we can start comparing those and do some gap analysis, and then make some decisions and put those into action plans. Whether that's an individual's development action plan against their current role, against their next role in their job family or their career progression, or whether it's at team level, department, or across the whole organization. And of course, those two sets of data, the skills that we have and the skills that we need, those change on a regular basis. So we give you a really easy way of not just capturing them the first time, but keeping those up to date so that each person's skill profile can be updated whenever their skills change, and your skill requirements, whether that's for a role, job, sprint, project, or even an individual task, those can be updated as the requirements change. What we often find in organizations is that they have an idea of the skills that they have, but absolutely every time we work with an organization, when we assess the skills they have, they turn out to be slightly different from what they thought. There are positives and there are negatives with that as well. If you do it in the right way and capture a view of all of the skills that people have, not just the subset that they use in their current job or role, you will of course confirm some of the things that you knew, that known usable capability. Skills you thought you had, you do have them, that's all good. You get a bonus of actually uncovering some unknown capability, skills that you didn't know you had within the organization. And now that you know about those skills and they are skills that you need, you can put them to use. You'll also discover some unused capability, perhaps some skills and competencies that you have in the organization that you don't need today, but maybe they're needed for a sprint next week, a project next month, or a new service that's going live next year. You also will uncover some danger areas, some unknown skills gaps. Skills that you thought you had in the organisation, you don't have them. And you really need to know about that as soon as possible so that you can take action before that skills shortage starts to cause real problems, like data breaches that might make the press or give you a fine from information commissioners, or project failures. A lot of things that you can prevent by addressing those skill shortages. So what do? We help the individuals in organisations, and often at country level as well, to first of all capture that view of the skills that they have, define what they need, but then to keep that data up to date as it changes, and then to use it in various decisions. It might be decisions on which skills do we build in our existing workforce, maybe map through to your learning management systems, maybe using training and other development actions from third-party providers as well as internal. Things that have been mapped to the Sophia framework so that you can very effectively identify the right development actions to match with the target skills at the appropriate levels for each person. You can mobilize skills that you found in your organization that you didn't know you had, but because you've done the assessment stage properly, you have that complete picture of your skill inventory. Those skills might not be in exactly the right place, but you can now mobilize them. Now you know where they are and who has them. You can use those to good use. You, of course, can sometimes find that you need to go and buy those skills from outside. You need to go through a recruitment process. And SkillsTX and the Sophia framework can be used in that recruitment process to not only attract people with the right skills and competencies, but to assess those people and those skills throughout that process to make your filtering and your decision making on who goes through to the next stage of the recruitment process a lot more effective. There are going to be occasions where you perhaps want to borrow those skills from outside, and Sophia and SkillsTX are used very effectively to match up the skills and competencies that you need with those of contractors, vendors, third-party service providers, so that you're asking for what you really need. They are able to express what they can provide in Sophia terms as well. So all of this helps to ensure that you've got action plans in place. You can attract, engage, develop and retain those highly sought after and critical technology, digital and IT professionals. We also make available a set of training courses, online self-paced training, covering all of the Sophia accredited training, but also a number of individual modules that help you to use Sophia and SkillsTX for lots of different reasons, lots of different ways. That is all included if you have a SkillsTX SaaS license. You have access to that online self-paced training. Most organizations' first step is to go through a project, really. And with any project or initiative, you have to deal with the management of change element, get the communications and engagement right. Explain to your people what we're doing, why we're doing it, how it's going to help them, what's in it for them, what's in it for the organization as well, how it's going to help. Then immediately after that communication, you're ready to do that first stage of assessment, build the skill inventory. Each person can go through a very simple process to build their own skill profile. And of course, once you've got a skill profile for each person, you have a skill inventory for your organization. That often starts with self-assessment, but there are various mechanisms available within the tool, including manager review and approval, endorsement, even through to assessor-based assessment. So you can review and approve and check the accuracy and refine that skills data. In parallel with that, you'll also want to define the skills that you need. Often this is a case of perhaps starting with role profiles and job descriptions in the organization and mapping those to the Sophia framework. But of course, it doesn't have to stop there. You can actually use that same approach to define the skills that you need in sprints, projects, even individual tasks. With that data, you can analyze the data, use it to support that decision making, make sure you've got the right action plans in place, and really start to realize the value of using Sophia in SkillsTX. And there are lots of things you can do beyond that as well, but that's a good starting point for most organizations. The founders of SkillsTX have been doing this for a while. We've been working in the Sophia space and looking at skills and competencies for quite a long number of years. In doing that, we established the need for the SkillsTX platform, and that took on a life of its own and became the product that you see now. As an organization, we are a Sophia accredited partner and a Sophia accredited training provider, licensed and accredited by the not-for-profit Sophia Foundation. We take part in maintaining the framework as well on the Sophia Global Design Authority Board and as members of the Sophia Council. We also set up and established that assessment and accreditation scheme for the Sophia Foundation. Our platform is very scalable and robust, meets all of the security requirements you would expect, and as you might imagine, a lot of our customers have been through and tested that and always found that it meets the criteria that they have. We have a lot of customers around the world in all regions using our platform. Some of them, of course, covered by confidentiality agreements, so we can't list them all, but here's an example of some of our customers. As an organization, where do you want to start? What we recommend, we have a Digital Skills Management Maturity Assessment, the DSMM. And this is something that will take you 10 to 15 minutes to complete, but is a structured survey that'll ask you a little bit about your organization and really confirm where you are on that maturity scale in terms of managing skills and competencies. It's entirely free, very quick to do, and after you've completed it, you will get a report which gives you advice and guidance as well as a maturity score and industry comparison. And it's a great document to support a business case for taking the next step. Once you have the report from that system, of course, you can share it with us at SkillsTX or one of our SkillsTX partners, and they can help you to flesh that out and to confirm next steps.